Like the continuation of a conversation we've been having my whole life. Because while it may now be obvious to moms and hopefully some dads too that women role models are important, when I was a little girl, my mom was so consciously bringing women into my life.
From the moment she was born, Charlotte Clinton Mezvinsky was a part of history. As the daughter of Chelsea Clinton and the granddaughter of former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, her arrival was an event the world watched closely. For a decade, her parents kept her life private, shielding their sweet, wide-eyed girl from the public eye. Now, at 10 years old, Charlotte is beginning to draw a new kind of attention as she grows from a little girl into a young woman. Her journey is a testament to the family's effort to provide her with a life of privacy and purpose. But who is this young person, and what is she becoming? Join us as we explore the life of Chelsea Clinton's daughter, Charlotte Clinton Mezvinsky. Then and now, it's hard to believe that Chelsea Clinton's first child, Charlotte, is no longer the tiny baby the world first celebrated with such excitement. Now, almost 11, Charlotte has become a thoughtful and caring big sister to her younger brothers, Aidan and Jasper. Her family life is filled with the kind of moments that many parents treasure, like celebrating a first birthday. When Charlotte turned 1, the Clintons marked the day with a small party at a children's play space in New York City. Chelsea, also, shared a rare, beautiful photo of her daughter at bedtime, offering a brief glimpse into her life as a new mother. Before this, she had been very careful to keep her daughter's image out of the public domain. In a conversation with People magazine, Chelsea explained her reasoning. It simply hadn't felt right to share photos of Charlotte online, though she admitted to the constant desire to post a precious or unforgettable memory. With my daughter, though, who's now 4, she is really curious, and I'm sure you see this on Ginger. She's so curious about the world, and so I try to help her understand how blessed and fortunate we are. This was a rare insight into Chelsea's philosophy on parenting. She spoke about the importance of giving Charlotte a healthy, normal childhood, one where she could explore and grow without the constant pressure of being in the public eye. Chelsea's goal was to ensure Charlotte had the chance to dream big and forge her own path. It's free from the external pressures and opinions that can come with a famous last name. She wanted her daughter to understand the difference between what is truly important in life and all the noise of the outside world today. Charlotte is no longer a toddler taking her first steps. She's a young lady with a growing sense of responsibility. While her parents continue to protect her privacy, those close to the family describe her as a loving big sister and a great role model for her younger brothers. She is said to be polite, intelligent, and deeply curious about the world around her. For a child whose life could easily be defined by the spotlight, Charlotte seems to be navigating it with remarkable grace. She is growing up with values of kindness, humility, and service lessons, passed down from a family that has experienced the full spectrum of public life. As she approaches her 11th birthday this September 27th, Charlotte is a reminder that even amidst fame and headlines, it's possible for a child to grow up grounded, guided by love, and supported by a family that values privacy, purpose, and a quiet presence. Yet, in a world where a famous name is hard to escape, can any parent truly shield their child from becoming a headline? The story of Charlotte's birth began a new chapter in the lives of Chelsea Clinton and her husband, Mark Mezvinsky. The arrival of their first child, a baby girl, was one of the happiest moments in their lives. Having been born into a family constantly under the spotlight, Charlotte is the first grandchild of former U.S. President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The happy news was shared early on a Saturday morning via Chelsea's Twitter account. The post expressed the couple's immense joy, wonder, and gratitude as they welcomed their daughter into the world. Becoming a mother marked a significant shift for Chelsea. Just as her parents had worked to give her a normal childhood, she was determined to do the same for Charlotte. Chelsea has been very clear about her commitment to protecting her daughter's privacy, which is why she hasn't shared many photos of her on social media. She mentioned that doing so has never felt right. While many people in the digital age share every moment of their family life, Chelsea has made a conscious decision to keep certain aspects of her world private. This doesn't mean she wants to keep Charlotte from experiencing life's opportunities. On the contrary, Chelsea wants her daughter to grow up exploring, building her own dreams, and discovering her own identity. In a conversation about her parenting goals, she shared that her primary focus is to ensure Charlotte grows up confident and independent, able to shape her own future without the constant pressure and judgment that can come from the outside world. She also explained that a key part of her role as a parent is to help Charlotte distinguish between what truly matters and the noise of external opinions. For Chelsea, parenting is not only about raising her daughter, but also about empowering her to think for herself, follow her own path, and dream big without fear. She has combined her public life with her personal values, bringing the same quiet strength and thoughtfulness to motherhood that has defined so many other aspects of her life. But behind every carefully protected child is the story of the parents who built the world around her. So, what has truly held their world together all these years? From teenage friendship to a lifelong partnership, Mark Mezvinsky and Chelsea Clinton have been married since July 31, 2010. Their relationship began long before that, tracing back to their teenage years. They first met at a political retreat in South Carolina in 1993. Both were in high school, and their bond started as a friendship that deepened over time. They shared similar backgrounds, both coming from politically prominent families. Mark's father had been a congressman from Iowa, and his mother had served as a congresswoman from Pennsylvania. They both understood the challenges of growing up in the public eye, a common experience that allowed them to connect in a way others couldn't. This shared history has undoubtedly influenced their approach to raising their own family, especially Charlotte. As they grew older and went to college, Mark attended Stanford University. He took Chelsea on a tour of the campus when she was considering schools. They were just friends then, both focused on their studies and dating other people, but their close relationship continued. They stayed in touch as their lives took them in different directions. Eventually, they both ended up living in New York City. After Chelsea went through a breakup, she and Mark reconnected, and something shifted. Their friendship evolved into a romance, and they quickly became a couple. Friends who saw them together noticed how much they cared for each other, describing them as happy and relaxed in each other's company. According to the New York Times, those who knew them said they often showed affection in public. They dated for about 4 years before deciding to take the next step. In late November, over the Thanksgiving holiday, they shared their engagement news with family and friends through a joyful group email. In the message, they apologized for the mass email and wished everyone a belated Happy Thanksgiving before sharing their good news. They clarified that despite media rumors, they hadn't married over the summer and were planning a wedding for the following year, hoping everyone could join them to celebrate. Chelsea and Mark's love story didn't follow a fast or flashy path, despite their prominent backgrounds. It was a relationship built on a strong foundation of friendship, shared values, and mutual respect. From meeting as teenagers to supporting each other through life's biggest moments. Their bond is a powerful example of how a relationship can grow strong when rooted in real connection and patience. But when love meets a famous legacy, can a person ever truly escape the weight of a well-known name? Growing up in the spotlight and forging her own path, Chelsea Clinton was born into one of the most recognizable political families in the United States. Her parents, Bill and Hillary Clinton, are both major public figures. Her father served as president, and her mother has been a senator, secretary of state, and a presidential candidate. But Chelsea never simply relied on her parents' fame. Over the years, she has worked hard to build her own career and make a difference in her own way. And this is precisely the kind of life she is building for her daughter, one that encourages her to pursue her own dreams beyond her identity as a daughter and grandchild. Chelsea was born on February 27, 1980, in Little Rock, Arkansas, where her father was serving as governor. She attended public school like many other children her age, but her life changed dramatically when her father became president in 1993. The family moved into the White House, and Chelsea had to adjust to a completely different world. She also transferred to Sidewell Friends, a private school in Washington, D.C. She has mentioned that this change was difficult and has spoken about her desire to shield her own children from a similar experience as much as possible. As she got older, Chelsea focused intensely on her education. She earned her undergraduate degree from Stanford University, then studied at Oxford University in England, and later completed a master's degree from Columbia University in New York. She returned to Oxford to complete her PhD in International Relations in 2014. While she grew up in the political world, Chelsea didn't initially pursue a career in politics. However, when her mother decided to run for president, Chelsea stepped up to help. In the 2008 campaign, she traveled to colleges across the country to speak to students and encourage them to support her mom. She also introduced Hillary at the Democratic National Convention. For the 2016 campaign, she took on an even larger role, making over 200 public appearances and speaking again at the National Convention. Outside of politics, Chelsea has held various jobs. She has worked for a consulting firm, an investment company, and as a special correspondent for NBC News. She also teaches at Columbia and New York University and is a board member of the Clinton Foundation, where she helps guide various projects. Raised in the public eye, Chelsea has worked hard to create a life and career that reflect her own values. Whether through education, public service, writing, or advocating for causes she believes in, Chelsea has demonstrated that she is more than just the daughter of two famous politicians. She is her own person, working to make the world a better place. But was Chelsea's path truly her own, or was it always written for her, even before she was born? The story behind her name, Chelsea Clinton, is no accident. It came from a special moment her parents shared. While on a holiday trip to London in December 1978, Hillary and Bill Clinton took a walk through the Chelsea neighborhood. At one point, they heard the song Chelsea Morning, originally written by Joni Mitchell and later sung by Judy Collins. Hillary has recounted that after hearing the song, Bill turned to her and said that if they ever had a daughter, they should name her Chelsea. Even as a young child, she was part of her parents' world. At just 2 years old, she was traveling across Arkansas with them during her dad's run for governor. From a very young age, Chelsea showed signs of being both smart and curious. She once said she was able to read newspapers by the time she was 3. By the age of 5, she had already written a letter to President Ronald Reagan, in which she politely asked him not to visit a cemetery in West Germany where Nazi soldiers were buried. This letter, of which her father kept a copy, demonstrated a remarkable awareness of the world for a child her age. Chelsea attended public schools in Little Rock, where her teachers and parents noticed she was academically advanced. She ended up skipping the 3rd grade. But her interests weren't just academic. She also loved the arts, played the Ghost of Christmas Past in her school's version of A Christmas Carol, and performed in a local production of The Nutcracker, showing an early passion for music and dance. When her father won the presidential election in 1992, the family's life changed forever. They moved to Washington, D.C., but Chelsea remained active in her school activities until the very end of her time in Little Rock. Her upbringing, rooted in the Southern Baptist faith of her father, was a blend of strong family values, education, and a deep awareness of the world. Even as a child, Chelsea was already beginning to form her own opinions and become a part of bigger conversations. Her early years were shaped by her parents' public lives, but they were also filled with personal moments that helped shape her into the thoughtful and driven person she would later become. Did Chelsea ever truly have the chance to shape her own life? Or was it always decided for her? Chelsea Clinton, a global health advocate, author, and philanthropist, has evolved from a shy 12-year-old in the White House to the accomplished public figure she is today. Her parents, with support from other presidential children like Margaret Truman, worked to shield her from the media's intense focus. Chelsea attended public schools in Arkansas before moving to Washington, D.C., where she excelled academically, and became a semifinalist for the National Merit Scholarship. Outside of school, she was a dedicated dancer and a regular attendee at youth group sessions at Foundry United Methodist Church. Ballet, in particular, was a strong passion. She started dance classes at the age of 4 and continued her love for it in Washington, eventually performing in the Washington Ballet's prestigious production of The Nutcracker. On the dance floor, she was simply another young dancer, a rare moment of normalcy in an otherwise extraordinary life. Despite her parents' efforts, she was still thrust into the spotlight. But Chelsea has decided that her daughter, Charlotte, would have a different experience. She has made it a point to ensure Charlotte grows up away from the media frenzy, enjoying a childhood that is as normal as possible. Chelsea's academic pursuits continued at Stanford University, where she studied history. Throughout her time there, she tried to keep a low profile, even though she was constantly a subject of media speculation. She went on to earn a master's degree in international relations from Oxford University and another master's from Columbia University's Mailman School of Public Health. Her commitment to academic excellence was further demonstrated when she earned her Ph.D. in international relations from Oxford. In 2014, professionally, Chelsea has worked in various fields. She began her career at the consulting firm McKinsey & Company and later worked for the hedge fund Avenue Capital Group, while her business and finance experience gave her a solid foundation. She never lost her passion for community service and advocacy. Today, Chelsea is a philanthropist and author who advocates for global health, childhood obesity, early childhood development, and education for girls. She has also been a vocal activist for women's rights and for programs that improve health outcomes for underserved communities. In addition to her philanthropic work, Chelsea has established herself as an author, writing books focused on environmental, conservation, and activism. Her writing style is sensitive and accessible, based on her belief that everyone, especially young people, has the power to create change. As a wife and mother of 3, she emphasizes the importance of raising children with strong values and a sense of responsibility. She regularly speaks at conferences, participates in public debates on healthcare and education, serves on the boards of organizations like IAC and Expedia Group. What Chelsea teaches us all is a lesson in quiet leadership, to be cautious and thoughtful, yet still make a significant difference in the world, even amidst the noise. How has her background influenced the way she raises her children? You think she will forever shield her children from the public eye? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more.